All right, so let's switch a little, still around the same conversation around strategy. So from your perspective, coming out, you mentioned earlier that you've seen 4 or 5 oil price crashes or slumps or dips in your experience, if not more. So, and you said something around the lines that this is nothing similar to what you've ever experienced. So the question is this: what are the similarities from the previous episodes of oil prices? Because the oil price, it's cyclical. It goes, there are dips, there are highs, there are lows. In fact, in the last 7 years or 5 years, the oil companies were the most valuable companies in the world. The biggest companies in terms of valuation were oil companies. I remember that very, very well. In fact, the top 3 companies were oil and gas companies. Right now, it's Amazon, Alphabet, and the likes, IT-oriented or IT-based companies that are most valuable in the world. So, what we'd like to hear from you is this: what are the similarities in the dips and lows you've experienced and oil crashes? When next year in we see a high, are there lessons we can take from the previous experiences? Are there lessons from this specific episode we're going through? We would like to share this with our viewers.
Thank you very much. One common similarity of this dip is that oil price has crashed. So that's the only thing that is common for all the cycles of the oil price.
That's very clear.
Yeah, but there are so many dissimilarities about this particular one compared to many other cycles. One is the diversity of places where oil has been found and oil is produced from. If you take 3 cycles of a downward dip in oil price, where are those countries where oil is being produced from? You can count them. But these days, I think the God of heaven has opened the boundaries where oil is found to many more nations. So there are many more sources of availability of crude. Take, for example, the impact of shale fracking in the United States and what quantum of volume of crude it has put into the global market. That has changed the nation and the characteristics of this particular dip, because there's a lot more oil available in other places than it used to be. And I think this is something that Nigeria has to take very, very significant cognizance of. Our oil is the same oil, whether it's found in Ghana or in Gabon or in Angola. And the fact that there are 3 other places where oil has been found literally brings to question what is the value that an average investor gets getting its crude oil supply from Nigeria. If he can get it from somewhere else under better terms, they will. And I think this is the major danger that Nigeria's situation has fallen in this particular instance.
And I think, so there's some conversations around strategic fit. So again, when we do long-term modeling for price of oil, population growth and development, especially development of developing nations and countries, and then conversion of energy sources from your typical sources of black oil to greener sources. Those are types of considerations when you're modeling your oil price. So the question is, as a country, is this the time in which we want to start to increase our internal consumption? Is this the time we want to start to encourage developments, not just in country, but across the West African region, Sahara region, thereby increasing the need and demand for our oil in our region. What are your thoughts around that strategy?
Well, I think basically our strategy ought not to be what we get out of our oil production. It ought to be what is the value chain in improving what is available for Nigeria, right?
Yes, sir.
Very, very important. And I want to stress here that Nigeria must learn to create more value out of its 1 barrel of crude now than it used to do before. And that brings us to the same question. Why are we producing to export? There's no reason why Nigeria should not be a crude oil processing hub for the rest of Africa. Imagine if there are refineries to take our 2 million barrels of production every day, converting 2 million barrels of crude into refined products. Just imagine the diversity of revenue that will come from selling not just crude, but selling refined products, whether it is diesel, PMS, HFO, naphtha, and myriads of other products that can come from refined products. Lost substantial ground in that we have not invested in creating more value out of the available chain in every barrel of crude oil that we have produced to deriving maximum value. So it cannot be just producing and selling. And then we also have to, like I said, gas is still a substantial asset in Nigeria that we really have not taken advantage of.